Hey everyone. So everything looks like it's up and running here good. The title of this is Ascension Q&A. So with this anyone can ask any question and I will answer it. Having said that again, there's always so much happening and again, everything is speeding up, if you will, which is good, and it keeps many busy. And as Femke said earlier today, there is so much last minute inner work, if you will, that's being done, and it's very indicative of this glorious, amazing time that we are in because these bits of inner work, it needs to be resolved here before you go into the next levels, if you will. And not only on an individual level, as a whole. So as each individual clears, purifies with their inner work here, then it gets um, put into up here. I just got distracted for a moment. Hello, Linda. Aloha. But, essentially everyone knows how it works by now that is watching this. And if you are just new, follow along and what resonates, take it with you. So, what I had begun in the last few weeks and will continue for the next month and a half is to reiterate, let's say, a lot of the basic teachings, what I've put out over the years, at the same time while intermixing and intertwining perhaps some of the new knowledge and new teachings as well, to serve, if you will, all audiences with this. So just letting everyone know that. And of course, everything that I always put out, as every teacher, it's divinely designed for their audience. And with this, if you have another teacher that is saying the opposite of Rick, it doesn't mean that teacher is wrong. It's meaning they are fulfilling another divine niche, if you will, for a certain audience that needs that. And the overall truth is that no one is saying anything wrong, even though at times it will seem like it contradicts, because there are so many levels of consciousness and development. And what serves one level may not serve another. But the main thing is that each and all continues to go forward, realizing that. And when we look at, have a candy, when we look at a little bit, the main thing when you hear it repeated, do not judge another, and this is part of what ones mean to accept and keep neutral with that on another, and that is what it's about. It's not about, let's say, one needs to evaluate one. For example, with judgment, if you will, if you have one that is very negative toward you, and if you remain silent and you do not judge them as being negative, nothing moves. It remains stagnant and hidden. So, with this, it becomes your responsibility and your divine obligation in certain places to openly state that one, to evaluate them. It is a form of judgment, but you need to show them what they're doing wrong, if you will, or what doesn't resonate, or what you no longer accept. And with that, this is why I say everyone judges themselves with their actions. So where their actions have already judged themselves, in the example of a chronic liar, if you will, then when you go and call one a chronic liar, you are not judging them, for they already judged themselves. What you are merely doing is stating a fact that has already been determined by them and witnessed, by many others. So it is a fact. So in that case, you are not judging, and also it's your divine responsibility and obligation not to turn a blind eye to that when you are confronted with it directly. So different applications and different divine maneuvers and actions do apply to what type of a judgment or evaluation you are making, what type of an assessment. And with judgment, as a whole, once we'll look at a negative judgment of a person, let's say, like if they'll say they're fat, which is a negative judgment. But also, when one says that she is beautiful, that is also a judgment, but it's a good judgment. So, with this, with your judgments, with your evaluations, and with your assessment, always keep them with the positive highest when you are able to do that. When you are provoked, then a different situation occurs where you can defend yourself if you wish, but it's important to not defend yourself to the degree that you will lower yourself or your energy. For example, if someone is angry at you and accusing you of something, it is best not to get angry, but to stand in your truth. And if you were to get angry, then it lowers your vibration, it disempowers you. So these are simple, basics. However, they hold true through the course of this ascension and your navigation, if you will. How's this feed going, everyone? I guess it's going great. Merla Love asked, can you explain how and why chakras merge? Well, I believe what you're asking is what occurs is that once, let's say with your sacral chakra, if you will, and your solar plexus, we'll use those two. So after you have, let's say, mastered all of your fear and have stepped into your divine prowess, and let's say this circumstance, then these chakras, and also once you're in the higher environment reality where there is no more fear and no more need to stand in your divine authority, then you no longer need these chakras, if you will. So one perspective and way to look at this is that then you require your root in your heart and, let's say, your consciousness. So this could be, I believe, what you are asking about the chakras. So you can look at the energetic chakras serve a purpose, yes, in this reality that you are working your way out of into the higher reality where the requirement, like with the throat chakra, no longer needed, where everyone is speaking truth and you're in a world of truth. You no longer need these energetic areas and chakras, and they just become all one, if you will, to the degree that they need. Thank you. So, yeah, open Q&A. Any other questions? You can put them in the comments and I'll answer them there. Thanks, Craig. Yeah. Just seeing on my end, it said the action was slow. I thought it might have been glitching a bit. So that's great. So everyone's made it through this far anyway, and we all persevere and we all get through it. But yeah, it's quite a tedious ascension, if you will. Well, the beauty of it, once we have everyone all in alignment with the one new reality and coming together with the one common goal, it's all done. It's all over with. So the great news is we already have the full template already here upon the planet for the new reality, and everything is set up and for that new reality, and it's being populated. So it is a definite reality that lifts all boats, if you will. But it's with the divine, it's with the individual choice. It's put down like that right on the planet that you have to make the physical choice and put a physical representation into it so that we create it as well. And it's being facilitated this way because the ascension had went in the beginning, if you will, to let's say 144,000 ascending, but that all changed. And then now it's the planetary ascension that takes all of the human souls forward, ascended to, let's say, the fifth dimensional state of being, and then others go on from there. But overall, we're kept back here. This is also with your twin flame relationships. It's like they have all been kept on hold as well, because with the divine plan, rarely does things change, but it did change to extend the duration of the ascension so that we could accommodate all of the human souls that could make it to take them forward to such a degree. So Catherine says, are we in the process of creating what has already happened energetically, now playing in the story? Yes, I have to say that yes, because energetically the battle, if you will, the spiritual battle upon the planet has already been won, and what we are doing are putting in the material pieces and the material bridges to facilitate the win, if you will. So it's already been ordained and divinely orchestrated and guaranteed and ensured, and this is what's happening now. So the overall divine plan, it was a huge strategy that played out, if you will, at tying up all of the evil by exposing them, but then also disempowering them as well. While the human souls over here was powered up, and so you're seeing very quickly again the population of this being populated, the new reality, if you will. So it's all been, yeah, it's all been ordained. That's why, when you look at, perhaps there's ones of you viewing this that was a target by the evil, by the darkness, but what you see, you're still here, that they can actually not do anything. The only thing they can do is intimidate, but they cannot inflict, if you will, upon you the harm that would kill you, if you will. That doesn't work. So everything is guaranteed with this. And I, for one, would not be sitting here if I was only human and what have you. So I am not, and I know what's going on, and I know what we're doing. So again, it's all ascertained. Yeah, thank you, Ryan. Yeah, nice curtains. Yeah, yeah, we have a little place here which is very good. It's comfortable, and what I wish to say, it's actually cheaper when we factor in everything we were paying in the camper when we had to go to campgrounds. So uh, it's cheaper, and we have a little bit more comfort, a shower and a toilet, which is great. So thank you for all of you that assisted with that. Amanda. Okay, you're a target and standing head to head. With this, Amanda, what I will do with anyone that's been a target, uh, as as part of your divine journey, it's also learning you what is actually out there that others can't see, and it's also part of your mastery to overcome the fear of that intimidation and burdening by the darkness. And at the same time, as you overcome that fear of them, it is it is replaced and instilled with the full trust. Now, what most upon the planet, what they do not realize is that there is an actual evil upon the planet that is in humanoid form. And these ones, they look human, but they're not. And one of the ways to identify them is when they get very angry, and perhaps you might have seen this, Amanda, and if you did, please share, their eyes will turn completely black. And this shows you the actual evil that was controlling the planet. So, when ones look at they think it's just bad people in government, if you will, and bad elites, but no, the real truth is it runs deeper. These are actually nefarious beings, if you will. And this is also part of why the ascension is occurring to lift the human souls out of that world where these evil ones exist, because these evil ones, they cannot create on their own. They were using the human souls to believe stories. Then the human souls would create the stories for them. So also, they cannot go where we divine ones are going. They do not have it within them. They will tell you with their trickery. Remember, they were the masters of deception. They will tell you that they are light too, to trick you into that so that they think you can take them forward. But the actual truth is no, they are not of the light. They are not truly part of creation. They are a reject, in the least, of creation, and they do not have what it takes to go forward into the higher dimensions. And that is the real truth of it. And why one becomes the target here is because when you begin to advance into your divine development and your divine prowess, you become untouchable and uncontrollable to them. So they become threatened, and in their last resorts, what they will do is begin to intimidate and attack you, but not physically. They'll financially burden you or whatever because they control that monetary system is theirs. And what they will do is try to burden you financially and with their fictitious legal system and all of this in attempts to retain that control that they once had on you. But once you rise more into your prowess, more trust, more of your divine trust comes in, and with that, more of your divine knowledge is released, and then you come to see the reality and the truth of it. So, so it's it is very cool, and everyone is fine. So I'm looking at what Amanda said here. Yes, Amanda said she did see their eyes in the hospital. Yeah, yeah. So it is very real, and for us that know it's real, very few, for to say to this to others, let's say, that have not saw it, they would not believe you because they didn't experience it and they didn't see it and they don't think it's real. But the thing is, we know it's real. We had the experience. But for us to give it to them, they will not believe it. This is why, with certain ones, they also need to have the experience to see the actual evil, what is and was upon the planet, so that they also know their divine roles and the reason why you are here, and also more of the mystery of life, if you will, is revealed to you as well. So it's great. Um, yeah. So from there, where was I going to go? I had no written script, if you will, and just leave it open to whatever questions. I can answer them all. So it's a Q&A here, and with some of these topics, as you can see, I could just ramble on and on with lots of information, but I'd rather just keep right to the point of the question without extrapolating or expanding upon it too much, if you will. So, so that's important, you know, and I wanted to say that again, that people, souls, don't actually know the actual evil they're up against, and you know, they'll think that it's just bad, bad people that haven't gone through their experience yet, when actually, no, it's not. They are actual evil, and they can never go through a purification experience because it's not what they are. They are not of God, is what I need to say at this time. And the way that this darkness manipulates and puts false information out there, it's one of their tactics, as always, to confuse, to separate through beliefs and what have you. So the darkness used many tactics to keep everyone separated, because then it's easier to control you. One of their tactics, the so many different social media. So, for example, one will be on Facebook, they'll become attacked, so they will go to another social media, but it's all uh, with darkness orchestrated to do that, to separate ones. So, as an example, what I've always told ones is, no, your presence is needed on Facebook or MeWe or Telegram, wherever you're at. It's important to keep your presence in them areas, and stay united as well. That's where the power is at. And don't let the darkness separate you. And also, it's important to do your own evaluation on any experience, if you will. You know, you can get others' opinions, but always trust what you receive yourself. That is your guidance. And so Catherine says, so they feed off lower energy, meaning they keep lower fear energy in order to keep the matrix in place. Exactly. Yeah, and this is what they do. Without the negative energy being created and generated by the human souls, they cannot exist, because, yes, you look at it as it's what they feed off of. That's why their monetary system and their legal systems is designed to create and generate from the human souls the misery, the aggression, the worry, all of those fear-based emotions and actions, if you will. It was all designed that way. But in this great time, the new system, the new lawful system and monetary system, what we're creating, what is already here, is GPMS, that is void of all of the complexity, and at its core what the old system was all of the deception and fraud. So this is the new light system that is doesn't contain any of that. So yeah, that's what they were doing, for example, with their capitalistic system at creating the class of poverty. That was done intentionally to create a lot of misery and what have you. And one of the things uh, with their healthcare systems, if you will, by also make putting a lot of stress on the poor people. When they became sick, they couldn't get the proper care because money had come before that. If they couldn't afford it, then they were, savagely and pathetically left alone to die. It's really ridiculous. And Africa is one of those places where, to my knowledge, if one doesn't have the money and they need immediate health care, they are turned away. So, this is a pretty savage. It's not advanced, not civilized at all. But the entire old system is constructed that way, um, to enslave, to suppress, as we know, the same old story. So, Corey says, are there any locations needing immediate light assistance? Not to my knowledge, unless someone is individually called to do something. We are at such a level now that so much work has been done um, over, let's say more notably the last decade, that there is, let's say, no more real requirement for extra light to be put into areas because what has been put in is already working uh, to that effect. But if ones are individually guided to assist in areas, then do it. But also be conscientious that some things that are playing out need to play out. And if you go and pump a lot of love and light into those areas, then what you are actually could be doing is prolonging it to serve a purpose in the future. So it may look like it's negative, but that negative might have to occur to create a positive. And if you put a lot of light in, then you just prolong it, if you will, and you keep um, the thing ongoing as well. So one needs to be conscientious on where they're applying, their light, and always assure that that your guidance is coming from a higher place, if you will, when you do this. That's what I suggest. So Catherine says, so are we sort of cracking light within their system that cannot be plugged? What I wish to say, within their system, we are cracking it open, but within their system, with the cracks, then it's the ones that are in the system that sees the cracks and rise out of the system. The old system, the system is imploding, it's dissolving, it's compressing, and the quicker it compresses, the more that are coming out of the old system. So with this, there is not the free will, if you will, to stay in the old system. It's divinely orchestrated that all of the human souls do vacate the old system, and the new reality is here already in place for them and already being populated. Elizabeth Jane asks, how is it going to work when we can get rid of them all and start fresh sharing, unconditional saying to all in love. When is the change? Elizabeth Jane, the change is already occurring. We are every day contributing to that change, cause and effect. So with this, what it does, it gets rid of the darkness, but the way to do it is don't focus on the darkness and what they're trying to do. Put the focus on what you wish and join with the others, because that is the majority of the souls that want the peace, love, and harmony. So the more that the focus is put on that, it gets created. And the darkness, if you will, they keep getting smaller and smaller when they don't have any recognition and they're not energized. So by putting the focus on the big picture, on what you want and the joy, they implode and soon just vanish from existence, if you will. And this is what we're doing. The war has already been won, the spiritual war again. And this is the quickest way to transition everyone from here into it. There is no in-between systems, is what I need to say, because nothing can do what GPMS does, which fully recognizes and activates the unlimited intrinsic value of the individual. This puts the power in the individual. Anything less than that, like a gold backed currency and all this, it doesn't put the value back in the individual. What this does, it has who owns the gold, if you will, are still basing the value on that, and it's the same ones that are part of the problem, so it keeps ones looping in that enslavement system. So this is also why a lot of these narratives did not come to fruition and will not, because they cannot. And I know this, for many it's a hard truth for ones to accept, and it's only the course of the time will be the witness of this, and more so as time goes on very quickly, it's seen for what is the best course of action, what is the quickest way to get the things done. So, yeah, just looking at some more comments here and looking for some questions. Yeah. Yeah, it gives calmness, but we still have like 1 foot in the old and 1 foot in the new. So you still need to use your discernment to navigate, between the two. But again, by employing within yourself and body and all the divine virtues, then it keeps you in a higher, safer place where you're not subjugated to a lot of unnecessary things in the matrix, if you will. So you're more free and able to navigate with a much clearer consciousness. Um, the 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 more your focus is put on the highest, and knowing this. Laura asks, can we transmute and transform the energetics of the street drugs and pharmaceutical drugs to have a positive effect? Let me say with this more so, Laura, it's on the individual levels with this, and it involves, their energetic trust and their beliefs, the individuals as well. So it does serve an individual purpose for this. But having said this, you have seen in the past miraculous things occur, as well as, let's say, with drug addictions, just dropping it instantly once they have a profound experience or a miraculous experience. So, having said this, on the individual basis, it does occur, but also the further that we transmute the overall energetic environment, then the more of these miraculous, um, what's the words? The more of these miraculous drug addictions uh, disappear. It'll be more miraculous and very instant as well, because you're changing the energy that the system creates, that makes one become depressed, if you will, and look for escape routes. But where we are creating the full escape route, where everyone has everything, then there's the addiction and the dependence upon drugs is no longer has a place in the new reality. What I will say is part of it, there's been divine intervention on a wide scale as well. However, that divine intervention saves some time, but still there has to be choices made. And as each of you and all of you are seeing, as we progress, when ones are not making the choices to change the world, then you're seeing, let's say, more unnecessary things are being incurred, uh, not only on the worldwide level, but on the individual level with your loved ones, your family members, your friends. It has, what has transpired in the last 3 years has touched everyone physically in their own reality to some degree. And um, with that, it shows they need to make a choice in it, and their time is running out, if you will, for them to make a choice. But divinely, it's all orchestrated that at the right time that they will make the choices, and things are gets completed very quickly. But when that time is, I cannot answer it. I'd anticipated it would have been about 2 years ago. But you're also dealing with the resistance upon the planet, the actual evil ones that keeps tricking ones into areas of complacency and codependency, which is causing things to hinder a bit. But also the consciousness, as a result of these things and false narratives, it's also assisting to raise the consciousness as well. So ideally, we'd like to see it all done, and um, we do at times nudge the problem areas to test them to see. And what I can share is I do see at times when we do nudge those areas that some do begin to rise. So it's good to see the effects and come out of the conditioning with those. So it is occurring. But how long it takes, all I can say is soon. It cannot take much longer, and I know all of you would agree. How can it? Yeah, something just jumped when someone else put a comment in here. Yeah, we have the full solution, and yeah, their order is, as I said, it's less than 1 million. Uh, is their order in their agenda? You have upon the planet about 6 billion human souls, which is more than less than 1 million. So there is no contest with it. It's just getting these 6 billion to know their full power as the people, and not to accept and not to keep focused on what they are doing, keep focused on what all we are doing, and get the unity, and that eradicates them, if you will. Amanda says, will we just change in the blink of an eye? That can occur. However, if you look, we're already in the blink of an eye. It's just going a little bit slower. So we're in an eye blink right now. So when you look at the whole world, like, for a millennium, a couple thousand years, if you will, and even longer, for the world to change in a decade, that is very instant and very quick and very flash-like, and that's what's occurring. Hello, everyone joining. Yeah, hi, Terry, and good to see you here. And you ask a question: do you have any more information regarding the lower level police and the military services? With this, the divine message was given to direct that message that was put out. It was addressed to the low ranking military and police to begin to be prepared. These are the moral police, to be prepared to have a stockpile for them and their families, enough provisions for about 2 months. So let's say you could call it a divine warning was given out now to them, so that they began, while they're still working, getting income, to begin to stockpile whatever they may need if they're in an environment where they don't get any pay from their employer for a few months. And the reason why this can occur is that if there are certain instructions given, let's say by a military's employment, that if it involves something that the military knows, the individuals know it's not moral, it's not right, then their conscience will not allow them, nor their heart, nor their morality, to be part of something that is not right. So this divine provision in the course of a message has been sent for those ones. And you're also looking at separating the wheat from the chaff, if you will, the moral military and, let's say, the not so moral military. So you're seeing a separation, but it's also a precedent. It is a setup for this new time, what is coming. So as a measure that has been given uh, to to the planet and to these worldwide military and police that uh, are, and when it's put moral, that means they know what's right or wrong. That they'll be unable to do something that they know is violating human rights or what have you, and what is not moral. So it's with these ones that they will need to leave their jobs, or they could also be fired, or what have you, but it doesn't matter how it occurs, is that they need to be prepared for this circumstance. So it's this message was put out, so that expands upon it, what it really means, for them. But it's also showing these ones that they have the divine support uh, when they do what is right. So they're being given a heads up to be prepared, whether something occurs or not. But for this type of message to be divinely put out, it looks like something very definite is going to occur. And when we evaluate the worldwide situation with in the increased civil unrest worldwide, even though it's not being publicized and not in the public, it is a very real and growing thing. And it's also, the indications were, let's say, 3 years ago with the huge protests, let's say with, I believe, in the UK with about 1 million in the street. That was about 3 years ago. Since 3 years ago, so many things have occurred that would cause more civil unrest in growing numbers. So this is a very real factor upon the planet. And, if that, when you have civil unrest, if that's in different countries, you also could have, what is called civil war, if you will. And in this respect, if you have civilian unrest that are only protecting their rights and what is moral, you cannot have a military or police taking action against them. For example, what had occurred in Australia with the corona thing, where you had police beating pregnant women, uh, teenagers, and all of this to put on a mask. Like, that was uh, absolutely preposterous to see that occurring, and to see these law enforcement officers acting immorally and also unlawfully at what they were doing. And so when you look at everything that has been shown over the last few years, what is very real is that there's huge civil unrest upon the planet. And yeah, so you get the picture. So I'll leave it like that for now. Thank you, Terry. Hey, Jens. Hi, Liz. And something, I don't know, another language, perhaps Danish. Amanda has a hue, I believe it's, comments are jumping here so it was hard to keep on to one. So, Amanda's saying her skin has a sheen on it, shines with glitter. Anyone else? All kinds of cool things can happen as well, and it depends upon your vibration. Hey, Johnny. Yeah, from Denmark. Good to see you. And Eva, I believe Femke was speaking with Eva yesterday or the day before. So, yeah, there's just so many. As we enter the higher vibration and the higher consciousness, also you're entering with your higher gifts, you're entering higher realities, experiences, multi-dimensional experiences. And with that, you see the magic, and you come to know as well that everything is possible, that in reality nothing good is impossible. Lucy asks, what's my take on the great solar flash that is coming? What I need to say is that, we are amidst the great solar flash now. Everything that's been transpiring in the last decade or so can be looked at as a flash. And, ones are kind of thinking and waiting for a solar flash, but the real truth is everyone needs to cause and effect it by being active and proactive into changing reality. So it is what I need to say. It's not truth that you can just all sit around, all of us, and do nothing, because nothing would change. You need to look at the amount of truthers that were out there, freedom fighters, all of these, by doing things, takes reality forward. But if no one does anything, it becomes stagnant. So, having said this, uh, a huge paradigm shift could occur very quickly overnight. You know, it is possible. However, what I say is that, again, we affect it by what we do here. So it's important to know that there has to be the physical manual input into it to cause an effect as well. And that's where I'm at with that right for now. So it could occur, but at this time, I don't see it uh, yet. There can be incremental shifts, noticeable shifts in reality, which do occur. And they do occur on the individual basis, but we need to have it concretely on the overall reality. And the overall reality is changed again by the contributions of the many. The more that support the new reality, the more quicker it can occur, and the more chances of a flash, if you will, that could change everything quickly. So, Catherine says riots in Spain. I didn't know that. I keep up to date, somewhat on the overview of the worldwide unrest and affairs, but I don't, for what I do, and I don't have the time to go into detail to look at everything, but it's like through things like this that I also learn more of what's going on. So thank you for that, Catherine, in Spain. I didn't know of that at the moment. Yeah, and Jessica saying she's experienced a lot of anger from others. Yeah, you're going to see the anger, the victimhood, the shame, and the guilt, but the defensive modes to keep that concealed, but they cannot. See, they want to protect out of fear the ego. They want to retain their haughtiness, if you will, their pride, but they will not be able to, and it must all fall. So you'll see increased anger from those that are trying to hold on to that they were right, if you will, and the longer that they hold on to it, when they don't transition with an open mind, the more angry they become, and it's part of the process as well. And, with that, it doesn't matter what you can say. They cannot see what you say as well. So when one's become angry like that, when you just walk away from it, if you will. Don't expend your energy on it, because they cannot see it. Their consciousness will not allow them to see it when they're in places of fear. For example, they'll think you're nuts, you're insane. They'll say you're a psychopath or whatever. But when any of them are able to say that, for about a genuine one, it speaks, where they're coming from, and how they have not really have not done their inner work, and they're not fully awake yet, if you will. So I need to say that, it's with some of those individuals, it shows, and you have the whole wide spectrum of it where ones try to hold on and protect that ego and not allow for evolution. They become stagnant with it, but there has to be the breakthrough, and it's genuinely, divinely ascertained for the human souls that they have to come to the place of surrender and throw down all of the pride and ego and do what is morally right and unite in the least. This is Amanda says San Francisco Bridge was blocked. People threw their keys in the water. I didn't hear this, but also Amanda, I don't, and others, I don't keep up on all of the stuff that's occurring on the lower timeline. And one of the reasons is we are busy creating the new one, and you don't want the consciousness contaminated with thoughts because you're powerful co-creators, and we don't want to create anything from the old where ones are fighting and what have you. So you don't want those type of themes in your consciousness, and if you have them in there, you got to clean them and keep the focus on the new world and empowering everyone so we get it done quicker. So, but interesting. Thank you. Yes, Catherine, the mountains have many crystals and a lot of quartz in them for the most part, and minerals. And yes, mountains are able to hold and produce energetic fields which are heightened beyond what you would have on the flat. Also, if you take up the sides of this, you got more energetic surface area when you're in the mountains. Like take these two sides and the bottom here. So you have all of this that is a more concentrated energy if you're in the middle of it rather than just a huge flat. So you are, I'm having, whatever's going on here today, my words and my vocabulary, it's funny. I'm unable in the past to access a lot of the words I use, but nevertheless, but that's whatever I was saying. Yeah. So, you know, what I was doing was about an hour Q&A here, and I have an important meeting coming up shortly, so I'll soon end this. And this was just a general Q&A, and we were just having more so a chat on here and connecting. So this was great with this. And what I'll say, if any of you, I think it's in, I'll go back. I think it's in attached to this live video, yeah. That if you don't know what GPMS.world is, Global People's Monetary System, the link should be here, and this is the new world that we are creating, and it's being done through a simple vote worldwide. So it's a simple referendum. Once the majority agree to it, then the new free and abundant world is here for everyone. And on the website, we don't go into detail because we don't need to. Having said that, once the think tank, once the voice is created, all of the solutions, all of the simplified detail is contained within the majority voice. So very quickly you just put it all together and it's done. That's why we don't want to go into pages of detail on GPMS for the New World, because GPMS is the vehicle that takes everyone to the New World and gives them all the money and the resources to do all of the good things with. So we don't need to detail and restrict how things will be done. We give the general direction, and we know when everyone's working together, it's nothing but solutions. So we keep it simple to collect the majority voice while we are in phase one of doing that, if you will. And I finally, after 4 years, got a new bandana. But with this, it's a little bit small, so it keeps going up. So I just got to get it broke in. So it keeps sliding up the head, but it's good. So, having said this, it's important to know, yes, GPMS.world is you can look at it as an arc to the new world. So once we have the majority on it, we set sail, and we have the new world created. And this time it's free of all of the darkness, and everyone has made it, if you will. So, having said that, namaste, peace, love, winks, we got this, and love, and of course, gratitude. And have an amazing day, everyone, and thank you for your all of your questions. And we'll be having more soon. Have a beautiful one. Thank you.